So this is a simple example which actually talks about the bank customer going to a bank and checking the bank validity, sorry, the card validity of the card validity. So I just wanted to show you about how to use the alt fragment. So that is what we are trying to use. So you can actually make it a bit more complex, but I am trying to make it as simple as possible. So that is what I am trying to do. So I am just using one entity and one bank customer. That's all I'm going to do. So this is my bank DB. Okay, so this is kind of, so I'm just keeping it as ATM itself. Okay, so just keeping it as an entity, and this one, because I just wanted to show you like how to do it. So say if the bank customer is actually inserting the card here, so here also say insert card. Insert card is the function that we are going to do. So when you are actually doing all this, please make sure that you are numbering it also. So 1.0 or 1.1 you can actually use. Okay, so this is the first thing. Okay, so now when you insert the card, what is the first thing which is actually done? It will ask you for the pin. Okay, so it is like ask for pin. Okay, so this is the function that you will have. So all these things you can actually make it a little bit more better, but I am just using very simple ones here. So you can ask for the pin. Okay, so now if if the display, I mean like say the customer enters the pin. Okay, ask for the pin. So what happens? The customer will enter the pin. So customer enters the pin. So here enter pin. So this is nothing but 2 I guess. So he will enter the pin, and now the only thing is that say display, what you have to display. If the pin is invalid, what you have to do, it has to be displayed as say display an error message. So display, so this is 1.3 I guess, 1.3. so display error message, and what is error message? So invalid pin. Okay, so here I also want you to make sure that this is a return, okay, which is actually done. So this is what it is. So what I would do is that say after inserting the card, I will actually come out with a fragment. Okay, I will bring a fragment, and in the fragment I will check whether my card is valid pin. I will check whether my card is valid or not. Okay, so how will I check my valid card? I will check the pin and check. Okay, valid card pin. Okay, I will check valid card pin. Okay, so when you look at this one, so this is how your fragment will look like. And what I would do is that, okay, so if the, see, I will ask for the pin. I will ask for the pin if the pin is actually valid. Okay, so what I would do is that you need to make sure that this actually comes as the else part. So in fact what you have to do is that, say you will have invalid card pin, and you can actually save that and click OK. So you could see that for this alt you have two different parts, but you can just slightly make it here so that yeah, I mean, like you can either put it down. Okay, so here, one second, I'm just making it here. So I'm just bringing this here again, and just make this a little bit down. Want this arrow to be a little bit up, so what I will do is I'll just delete this arrow. These are all some practical difficulties that you will see in Enterprise Architect. You can just keep it here. Sorry. Just arrow. This arrow, I'm just trying to double click on it. I'm just putting the data and I'm just making it as okay, right? So now you could see that you are entering the pin, and if it is valid, okay, you will proceed with the process, or else you will have a display about this. So this is a simple thing to just show that how you will use this alt function in this, and this is how it is. Now one more thing which I wanted to tell you is that so I'm just saving this. Say in the previous program that we have actually seen, say this one. Sorry, not the project. Yeah, the trial sequence, I guess. So this is the program which I want. Yeah, so here I'm just going to get the sequence diagram. So this sequence diagram is the one which we have actually seen, the looping, right? So looping is one way of getting things done, that is for the iteration. So this is also fragment, and when you look at the alt or the selection, that is also sequence. Now one thing which I want you to ask you is that say you have the stock home, right? The stock home, all the entities, if you could see, all the entities are at the top, right? But in fact, when you look at the stock home is generated only at this stage, right? So you don't want stock home here. You can actually bring it down here. So how can you do that? So click on this item, which is this arrow, and say if you simply click the life cycle, see the life cycle as new, okay? So then you could see that the stock home has come down. So this is one way of doing things. So that means that you will understand that these are all the entities which are already there, and this entity is actually created only at this particular point. Now say this basically shows you that okay, this is the end of it. I mean, like, say you are actually killing it by the end of it. So after this there is no use for it. So this is the meaning of it. So the creation and the destruction is also could be done. So each object can be created and each object can be destroyed also. So this is one way that you have to keep in mind, right? So this is what I have to tell you about the sequence diagram. So try these sequence diagrams and let me know if you have any doubts. And so there is a simple example which is actually given here as part of this one. I would like you all to try. So this is like creating a sequence diagram, and the customer requests the prices and availability of the item from the manager, and the manager calls the store requesting the store price. The store provides the store price of the item, and the manager computes a commission and quotes a sales price. So this is so it is like quote items sequence diagram, if you could see. Okay, so when you look at this one, say you have a manager, okay, you have a manager, and then you have main item, then you have the quote form. This is the handler or the controller, and this is the calculation, which is again a controller because it decides how it is actually calculated. Then quote itself is an entity, and then you have an item, commission rate, etc. So when you look at it, initially the manager is asking for the get quote, and the quote form will be displayed, okay, and it will actually go to the quote handler, and it will check whether the quote ID, the quote date, the days valid, etc. are actually valid, and if everything is valid, it will return all those things, right? So this is a return value. And now when you look at it, there is a loop. So what is the loop? The loop in that, we have to make sure that all the item details, right? For the item details, you are actually for all the items in the quote, okay, so you are actually getting the item details, and you are passing the item ID, and then the item ID is basically passed through the quote handler or the controller, and it is actually passed to the quote itself, Okay, so you are actually passing the price and the quantity on hand. Then you need to check whether the item is actually available. So you are actually passing it to the quote item, and then it is actually checked here, and it will give you the store price, and it will also give you the quantity on hand, and it is actually passed on to the quote handler, right? From the quote handler you have to actually find out the price, so the sales price, right? So that is what you are calculating the commission. You are getting the commission rate, and all the commission rate etc is added, and it is again coming back to the calculate commission. So here you are actually calculating the sales price for all the items, and then it is actually passed on to the quote controller itself. Okay, and then everything is actually passed on to the quote form. So this quote is for all the items. So this is the things which you have to do for all your items. Okay, then finally you are actually you are actually saving. Okay, the quote is fine, so the manager saves the quote. The quote is actually saved, and it again goes to the course controller, and it goes to the quote. So in the quote database it has to, so the entity it has to be stored. Okay, so this is a simple example for the quote item sequence diagram. So this is a simple item where you are using the various interfaces, the quote form, and the between the quote you have something called as the quote handler. So this is the quote controller, okay, which you have to use. So now again what I need to tell you is that this example which you have actually seen here, this example is not a complete example. That is what, don't get confused. This is not a complete example. This is a simple example which is actually shown to show you the how to use the alt. That's all. So here actually you have a bank customer, you can have a display screen here, you can have a controller, you can have an ATM, you can have, so all those things are basically possible as well. So but here this is this correct? This is correct in one way, but this is not the detailed sequence diagram. So you can actually follow one type of sequence diagram. So this, the main intention for this one is just to show you like how to use this ALT. That's all. So hope you you can just keep moving forward and do this examples. So by the next class, please make sure that you are completing this and submitting and to me, and I will check that in the next class. So thank you so much. If you have any doubts, you can always get back to me. And the sequence diagram is important, as this is actually one of the major component of your project itself. Thank you so much. Have a great day.